What's up, schmucks? I hope you're well, and I hope you're ready to talk about Little Girl Dracula. Let's go. Abigail is directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett? I don't know. I'm going with Gillett. With a script penned by Stephen Shields and Guy Busick. The movie stars Alicia Weir in the titular role of Abigail, a young ballerina kidnapped by a group of misfits headlined by Melissa Barrera, Dan Stevens, Catherine Newton, and Kevin Durand. They kidnap this girl because they hope to hold her hostage in exchange for $50 million, but get more than they bargained for when she turns out to be a vampire. So as always, we're going to start with the good and what I liked, and then we will get to the bad and what I didn't care for. So what's good here? The cast. The cast of this movie is fantastic. You can tell that everyone in this movie was having a fun time. No one is phoning anything in. No one is bored. Everyone is giving it 150%. Alicia Weir in particular. This whole movie hinges on her. She's Abigail. If she doesn't land, the movie doesn't land. If she doesn't sell this movie, you aren't buying it. But she absolutely delivered here. Alicia Weir is outstanding in this role, bringing a charm and intensity to craft an engaging and fantastic movie villain. However, like I said, everyone is great in this. Dan Stevens is amazing in everything, and that includes this movie. He's a douchebag, but he's a fun douchebag, bringing that classic Dan Stevens swagger to the role. Kevin Durand is playing a big dumb muscle guy, but he's incredible. Every line he has, he delivers with so much comedic excellence. I really need him to be in more things. He's great in this. Catherine Newton is really fun in this, but I want to come back to her after. Melissa Barrera is the heart of this movie, and she absolutely seals the deal. She once again carries a horror movie on her back, and just like Scream 6, she is nothing short of fucking spectacular. She brings such a smoothness to this role. Joey is a person who is always in control. She's typically the smartest person in the room, but now we get to see her under intense pressure as she's thrown into a situation where she doesn't know shit, and it's so exciting and fun to watch. Also, Melissa Barrera looks so natural with a gun in her hand. I would love to see her in some gritty detective drama or something. But Joey was such an endearing protagonist. She was funny, she was easy to root for, and she was brought to life by a terrific performance. I liked watching Joey. I liked rooting for Joey. Melissa Barrera is a star, and she doesn't need the Scream series. The Scream series needs her. Let's talk about Catherine Newton. She's great in this. She's great in everything. Newton is always charming, always fun, and always bringing her A game, and her performance here is no different. However, my favorite thing about her in this movie is simply that she's in it. I've mentioned this a handful of times, but I am a huge fan of the classic Universal monster films. The Cum films, if you will. The Invisible Man is my favorite, but I love all these guys. However, one of the main appeals of the Cum films is the rotation of the same actors in varying roles across the movies. Boris Karloff was the Mummy, but also Frankenstein's monster. Claude Rains was the Invisible Man, but in Wolfman, he plays Larry Talbot's father. Bela Lugosi was, of course, Dracula, but in Wolfman, he's a fortune teller. This was part of the fun of the original Dark Universe, and you might be like,
okay, Turkey, cool fun fact, but what does this have to do with Catherine Newton?
Well, my beautiful schmuck, through Catherine Newton, this trend of the same actors appearing in multiple Dark Universe pictures continues, as she's here in a Dracula movie, but back in February, she appeared in a delightful riff on Frankenstein. Now, this was 100% not intentional. How could it be? But as far as I'm aware, Catherine Newton is the first actor to appear in multiple modern Dark Universe movies, and quite frankly, I love that shit. But that's enough about characters. What else is good here? This movie is surprisingly funny. It's a dark comedy and a very good one. Most of the laughs come from Kevin Durand, but Alicia Weir's got jokes too, and they all landed for me. This movie's also delightfully violent. If you want good kills and absurd amounts of blood, Abigail has you covered, and the characters covered in it. But with that is going to lead us into the bad. So, what didn't I like here? This is a rare occurrence on the RoastTurkey channel, but I actually liked everything here. Or my criticisms haven't set in yet. Who's to say? However, there is an element of this movie I want to highlight that I didn't dislike, but I'm not fond of it either. So this movie treats Abigail's vampirism as a big reveal. There's build up to it and a genuine attempt at mystery and suspense at what threat is in the house with them. And I can tell that if you didn't know she was a vampire, the reveal would be fucking sick. The scene where she reveals to everyone that she's a vampire is so well paced. It's really well edited. It's a really fantastic scene. However, if you saw the trailer, she's a vampire, right? It was the main selling point of the movie. They kidnap a little girl. She turns out to be a vampire. Now they're fucked. Yeah, that got me in the theater. That would get almost anyone in the theater. That's a crazy cool premise. But the movie's also built around this reveal. This reveal is killed because I don't know how they would have marketed this movie without revealing she's a little girl Dracula. So I totally get why that headlined the marketing, but I also think not knowing the vampire of it all would make this a stronger experience. That being said, it really doesn't matter, and I loved this movie even though I knew Abigail was a little girl Dracula. It didn't really hinder my experience. Overall, Abigail was surprisingly amazing. It is exactly what I want out of a horror comedy. Big laughs, good kills, lovable cannon fodder, a great final girl, and a fantastic villain. If you liked Ready or Not or M3gan, you'll like this. I truly hope in the years to come, Abigail becomes a horror icon because Alicia Weir deserves all the recognition for this movie. Alright, that'll do it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. Subscribe if you want to hear me talk about movies some more, and I will see you next time. Bye.